Bioweapons. House Intelligence Committee is now saying that that might be what started all of the pandemic. Oh, great. They published this on Twitter, and that minority committee, which is the House Intelligence Committee, is now going to be the majority committee in the next Congress. But they write this in mid-December. They say, tonight, the minority staff, led by Rep. Brad Wenstrup, released their unclassified summary on their report on the origins of the COVID. They write that our report states that COVID-19 may have been tied to China's bioweapons research program and that the intelligence community withheld key information from the American public's authorized elected officials, deepening public mistrust. Sounds pretty bad. Now, this is the minority report. When they become in the majority, we'll see if the report changes. But it is now available. Unclassified. The United States House of Representatives, the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, released the following unclassified second interim on the origins of COVID pandemic report. They give us the executive summary. They tell us in part one, they say the COVID-19 pandemic wreaked havoc across the country. True. With almost every household feeling its effects. The U.S. death toll from this virus has surpassed 1 million people, and although concrete data is hard to lock down, millions of Americans are suffering from long-term effects directly attributable to the virus. COVID has also negatively impacted communities, especially our schools. It's become increasingly clear that school-aged children face major educational hurdles because of long-term school closures. The public deserves answers on every respect, including how it started, and specifically whether it was natural or the result of a lab-related event. This committee is uniquely positioned to assist in answering the questions. This unclassified report attempts to add to the discourse of COVID-19 origins with the understanding that information held by the intelligence community, the IC, has yet to be shared with this committee. It could be useful in making a final determination of whether this thing started in a lab or was natural. The report says, in direct contrast to the media skepticism that we saw in the early days of the pandemic, the scientific community now largely accepts as feasible, at least, that it may have emerged from a lab. Chinese scientists experimenting with coronaviruses may have caused it. Science and scientists have called for additional investigations, broader review, but since the PRC, the CCP, has not been transparent in sharing information, the intelligence community is uniquely situated to provide what we need. However, Congress says the intelligence community has thus far failed to inform the public and failed to keep its congressional oversight committees fully informed about what it knows. The intelligence community owes the American people greater transparency on the information it already has, and it must be fully transparent to those in Congress. They say that based on our investigation involving a variety of public and non-public info, we conclude that there are indications that SARS-CoV-2 may have been tied to China's biological weapons research program and spilled over to the human population during a lab-related incident at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The intelligence community has failed to adequately address this information. The committee has not seen any indications, though, that the military released the virus. Omissions in the declassified, updated assessment that the IC, the intelligence community, provided were misleading. All right. So not only are they stonewalling Congress and these reports are not making it to them, but when they do get the reports, when the stuff does get transferred, they're also lying, right? They're actually misleading on the issues. One of the intelligence community's 3 primary tasks in its 90-day assessment of the origins was to evaluate connections to bioweapons programs. The declassified report claimed the IC was able to reach broad agreement, quote, that the virus was not developed as a bioweapon. Despite the fact that the IC relayed its confidence for nearly every other assessment in the declassified report, low confidence, moderate confidence, etc., they failed to disclose its confidence about the bioweapons assessment. So they say, oh no, we think this with this level of confidence. I can make that jump. Yeah, I can jump across that. Yeah, I can dunk that ball. I can dunk in there. I can touch that. I can jump up and touch that. How sure are you? 80%, maybe 40%. Probably, right? You don't really know. They gave numbers to everything else except this. The intelligence community's declassified version also withheld other key information from the public. The committee believes that this vital information could have been included in a declassified version without harming national security, but everything harms national security. In fact, these omissions likely skewed the public's understanding of key issues. The intelligence community should be transparent regarding what it knows, what it doesn't know about the relationship between the People Liberation's Army, their 5th Institute of Academy and Military Medical Sciences, which China has publicly admitted conducts bioweapons research, and the Wuhan Institute, particularly during 2019, saying this is the connection. The PLA, the Chinese Army, has a group called AMMS, Academy of Military Medical Sciences, right? It's like military medical science. It's like the military CDC weaponized. I don't know. And they're working with Wuhan. There's a connection between these two organizations. Was it investigated? In addition to the problems with the declassified version that came from the intelligence community, the classified version that we also got provided to Congress also omits vital information, and it dismisses the intelligence in a cursory manner. The intelligence community failed to correct claims in the classified assessments, and they undermined a key portion of the report. They failed to comply with numerous requests for more information. They just didn't give it over to them. This committee will continue to press them and try to get them to explain why it was omitted. Members will seek to declassify the full classified version. And regardless, the intelligence community should on its own declassify and release all the public stuff about the Chinese medical science military team and bioweapons. The history of China's bioweapons and proposals and the nature of all of this happened under questionable circumstances. They say that there was timing of experiments by military scientists at the Wuhan Institute in 2019 and the 5th Institute scientist, General Zhao Yusen, who since died under questionable circumstances. Some general in China died. How? The committee also has reason to believe that they downplayed the possibility that it was connected to the bioweapons program. The IC denied congressional oversight over its assessment. It relied heavily on outside experts who all had conflict of interest or may have had. In response to failures, they're not providing any information. They've restricted part of the ODNI's. This committee restricted part of their budget. However, despite failing to turn over the list of outside experts, the ODNI unilaterally declared it complied with Congress. The committee strongly disagrees with the ODNI assessment. So in other words, right, the director of national intelligence just says, we gave you what you wanted. And you say, no, you didn't. And they said, yes, we did. We're the intelligence community. We're smarter than you. So, and we'll Epstein you if you disagree with us. And you go, okay, all right. Well, we'll just write it in our letter then. Okay. The intelligence community continues to obstruct, right? The U.S. This is like two branches of the U.S. government, right? And you'd think that they would be in uniformity on this issue. Like what interest do they have in not telling us the truth on this? Unless they're just totally corrupted by the Chinese. I don't know what else to say. The intelligence community continues to obstruct the committee's oversight by engaging in a pattern of refusing to give information. They've ignored dozens of requests and analyses. They say that the committee, we're going to explore all means at its disposal to require the intelligence community to fully cooperate when we're in charge. And we'll use a compulsory process if necessary. So that means formal subpoenas and hearings and whatever. They write that based on our investigation, we conclude that the DHS here in the United States was aware of serious national security risks associated with the military medical science team in China, the Chinese military science team. Nevertheless, public reporting has claimed grant money from HHS components flowed to the Chinese military medical team and their researchers. At the committee's request, the government is conducting a comprehensive accounting, so I think the General Accounting Office or whatever, to determine exactly how much money came from the U.S. government to the Chinese military medical team and the Wuhan Institute. In November of 2022, GAO provided committee staff with an update, confirming that grant money from HHS components, U.S. government, flowed to the Chinese military medical sciences platoon. Well, I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you call it, like a group, a team. I don't know. The Fifth Institute via subawards. So they got a bunch of money. The committee does not know if the scientists who funneled this money to the Fifth Institute, a known component of the Chinese Bioweapons program, were among the experts that consulted with the intelligence community about the origins. What on earth? Oh my gosh. It's like James Baker is working in here. So the Chinese Bioweapons program provided people who were experts that the United States intelligence community consulted with about the origins. What did we just read? The committee does not know if the scientists who funneled this money to the Fifth Institute, a known component of their bioweapons, were among the experts that they consulted on the origins. So they don't know. They're not saying that it happened or not, but it's a hell of an implication. GAO's work is ongoing. Final report scheduled early 2023. All right. Now, the rest of this, of course, is all, a lot of details. And so I'll leave you to read the rest of the report on your own. We'll see down in the conclusion what they're sort of getting to here. They're asking for certain things. We sent letters to everybody. Nobody's responding. Once again, everything's classified. So here's what we want. All reporting, all information. To what extent did you review these and deny our requests? Were any SARS intelligence products withheld from distribution? Were any drafts and other things not approved for finalization? They want all of the work product, essentially. The members of this committee requested this information by August 19th. To date, no agency has responded with the exception of the CIA and the DIA, saying that the CIA merely sent a list of documents it already produced. The DIA merely resent the documents it already produced. So they're both just like, we already gave you what you needed. Neither provided any of the additional documents requested substantively addressed later. In conclusion, the minority committee says, the IC has failed to respond to numerous legitimate inquiries from its oversight committee about the origins of COVID. The committee will continue to explore these options, and we're going to continue to explore our options regarding the intelligence community's refusal to cooperate, and we'll seek the appropriate action to require compliance. So, man, I hope that they really do that. I mean, this is the big question that we have. I don't know why the intelligence community would be, directly lying to us all, or hiding stuff. They're lying to Congress, right, to try to cover what up. What's the deal? What a joke. All right. So that, my friends, was the update on the bioweapons. The minority report came out. We'll see what it looks like next year when the Republicans are in charge and they've got some mechanisms by which they can go and actually do stuff, right? Issue subpoenas, form their own stupid select committees, and do whatever they want, just like the current select committee did. So that is something we'll continue to cover. Of course, we want to know where this thing came from, and we want everybody who was involved in it to be held to account. Hopefully we get there. But thank you for subscribing, liking this video wherever it is you're watching it, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.